One Piece 1173, full spoiler summary. Let's get right into this. Chapter starts with Dory and Brogy and Domi Reversi giants attacking the western village. In an amazing double page, Zoro arrives and starts jumping on the heads of the giants. That way, he won't get flanked by the giants and won't be affected by the Domi Reversi. When Zoro reaches the center of the ground of the Domi Reversi giants, he jumps even higher and attacks them with three sword style secret technique, crossing the six paths. Shout out Naruto. Then, in another incredible double page, Dory and Brogy attack Zoro together, but Zoro uses his swords to propel himself out of the way. Dory and Brogy end up slashing into one another. This scene calls back to their clash in the Little Garden, but here their attacks cut parts of their body. So, too big oomph, all brawn, no brain. And it's actually really great that they're calling back years later, decades later. Then, cut to Brook, still tied up, that is crawling around on the ground until he reaches Gunko. Brook calls to her, Princess Shuri, because he thinks Gunko must be related to Princess Shuri since she should be 80 years old by now. Angrily, that face, the blue hair, the iris of different colors, and having something to do with the Holy Land, not to mention your love for my music. Yes, everything matches. Right, Princess Shuri? I don't want to remember you in the slightest. You father slayer, the man whose life you took, my benefactor to whom I owe so much. After hearing Brooke, Gunko briefly comes back to her senses, but Emu is not willing to let Gunko regain control of her body. Uh, Gunko, you don't tell Mew that you're beginning to remember things. Run, Brooke! Gunko manages to free Brooke and Straw Hat Crew from the arrows, but Emu takes control again and makes Gunko attack Brooke. At the same time, Sanji reaches Nami's group, all released now from Gunko's arrow, but Robin is unable to move because she's still trapped by some vines. Let's kind of go over this right now. This is pretty big because obviously in the world of One Piece, a lot of characters end up having to do things that they're not comfortable with doing and having to, for whatever reason, are conflicted and compromising and potentially killing people. This could be a situation with Gunko and Brooke where she had no choice but to do it and feels remorse for it, thus freeing Brooke. If she was and she was super evil and like Brooke's anger is justified, then it really wouldn't make any sense for her to all of a sudden like want to break out of control to like do something. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to say about that. So moving on, and Goldberg and Road are close to the area. Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead. Cut to the giant kids that reach Summers in the ship. The kids' parents, Ripley and the other giants, catch up with them, but are blocked by an evil Nika MMA. However, they all bravely attack the Nika MMA together since they are warrior generations too. But Nika's MMA resists the attack and is now the one who attacks the kids' parents. Gerald, Jerd, Goldberg, and Rode are close to the area where the children and parents are, but they won't arrive in time to help them even if they run. So Gerald and Goldberg decide to attack from a distance to defeat the monster. Gerald and Goldberg use the same attack pose as Dory and Brogy. Jerd, let's do this thing, Goldberg. Got it. Double commanding, Road pipes in. Hold on, I shall join you as well. We shall rescue you momentarily, dear brother. So all three of them, the triple commanding Gokuko sovereignty, roaring nation. So all three of them combine their power to use an epic, a double attack that pierces through the Nika body. Okay. In the last page of the chapter, we see the Nika MMA is blown towards Summers, but he uses a spike club to blow it away from him. However, the Nika monster ends up falling on the ship that was going to be used to kidnap the children and sinks it. The chapter ends with Summers' shocked face. Lol. It falls onto the ship. Oh shit. End of chapter, no break next week. So this is really funny because we're kind of in between a lot going on, and these last two chapters have been kind of a bust just because we're coming off this insane rocks flashback and everything. But this is kind of like where a little humor and comedic Pippin comes in because think about it. Summers just, and I said this in my last video if you watched, Summers gave up their entire hand. All of the leverage that they had is gone now. So ultimately, it's going to be a free for all on Elbath. And the two strongest people have yet to even shown up yet. Loki and Luffy, which again, Loki already one shot one of these MMA monsters, which is taking three, high tier fodder. I mean, I'm not gonna like underestimate Goldberg and Road and Jerd, but like they're not exactly the highest caliber fighters, right? And there's three of them, so it kind of goes to show that they're not like the most intense. Yeah, they can take them down, but there's tons of monsters up there, so they probably get overwhelmed anyway. However, Loki and Luffy can probably take multiple ones down individually. So just that alone, not to mention the actual God's Knights, which apparently are like very, very bad at comboing attacks. Like Killingham, first off, has no control over his monsters like at all. They're like autonomous, running around, just destroying things. And Summers has just been like completely dumbfounded this entire arc. Like he's been just basically slipping up. It seems like the whole time, or overplaying his hand. And in this case, he doesn't think anything through, and then just gave away their whole plan. So this is going to be really interesting. It's kind of falling apart, and here comes the cleanup crew, right? Cleanup squad. But the Brooke scenario, this is really interesting because Brooke has literally no backstory. They can do anything they want. They can make Gunko like one of the biggest royalty, kingdom leaders for a fat section right before Roger and everyone else even took off. Because remember, this is the era of the pirates. Before it could have been an era of who's ever kingdom. And Brooke could have been right in the middle of this. So really, it's whatever he can do, like if they Brooke scaling can go insanely, is what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is they can create such a crazy backstory that makes Brooke so much more crucial to the story and just the entire evolution of like the end times in the world of One Piece and entering the final battle. You'll probably see like this super big upscale, especially from Brooke. I wish it was Usopp, right? Really wish, just like I wished it was Frankie and Vegapunk and Zoro. I mean, in Egghead, and then I wish it was Zoro and Wano. But you get a little bit with Zoro, but Frankie and Usopp so far have been a flop. Brooke is getting this really cool focus, so I'm not really unhappy. But anyway, I'm gonna sprinkle in some panels. You've probably seen these already, but anyway, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one.